Now, I know you guys want to talk about Israel doing a preemptive strike on Iran. That is going to be difficult because we do not have a ton of information other than this attack has been launched. The Reuters article from like 10, 15 minutes ago says simply that they have launched missiles against Tehran. I believe those missiles are now hitting Tehran. My guess is that Israel is trying to achieve its short-term goals. Let's see here. And draw America. Oh, nope. Okay, nope. The United States is now bombing Iran. That's so cool. It's so fucking great that Congress has so ceded its authority to the Trump administration that Trump can just declare war, I guess. Oh, Doc RDC, thank you for the sub. Yep. Iran designated as a state sponsor of wrongful detention because Iran is currently detaining a handful of U.S. citizens. That was as of 10 hours ago. Well, looks like it is unfolding. Let's open up the live UA map here. Yeah, nothing, no new updates. Again, like the missiles were just launched, but apparently the United States is now involved. The Israeli government has suspended civilian flights to and from the country in the wake of the attack in Iran. To and from Iran? Or to and from Israel? Weird. Air raid sirens sounding across Israel, warning residents of potential for impending attacks. Well, folks, in normal times, this would be an immediately impeachable offense for the President of the United States to just launch unilateral attacks and take the power of war from Congress, but Republicans love this shit. Republicans love the fucking fear-mongering and the war machine.
Remember, according to the United States government, arresting and detaining U.S. citizens is grounds for war, but the wanton killing of American citizens will always be justified.
Welcome to World War III. We don't know that it's World War III. And also, I want to point out, we already know it's not going to be World War III because all of the reports, even from earlier today, indicate that Trump's military generals are saying, like, they do not have the ammunition to conduct a war. They do not have that. They don't have the ability to do it. Are they additional attacks or the ones Israel coordinated with the United States? Unknown at this point. There's not a ton of information available. A U.S. official said American military strikes on Iran were underway. That's about all we got. Why bomb them? Because right now, well, to give you the short answer here.
Yeah, you know what, you're right, abolish the Republican Party.
Exactly!
But this.
Like, there's no salvaging this. Like, the Republican Party is so fucking broken and so fucking radicalized that they live in a completely different sphere of reality. We need to, like, abolish the Republican Party, and we need to break apart all of these media, like, empires that these Republican billionaires have built for themselves. Okay? It's literally tearing apart our country and the world. Now, really, how did they run out of ammo? We ran out of ammo by sending essentially ammunition to Ukraine and Israel. And so we don't have a ton of ammunition stockpiled for, like, our fleet that is in, off the coast of Iran. Okay? When did this happen? This is happening, like, right now. Evacuation order for all U.S. personnel from Israel. Yeah, one would imagine that if this was going to happen, we would have evacuated, Americans before this took place, but, don't we have a military and industrial... I'm sorry, what does the MIC stand for? My brain is breaking. Military industrial... Yes, we have a military industrial complex, but you can't just pull ammo out of thin air. Like, it has to be manufactured. Jesus. Yes, my brain forgot the word complex. Thank you. They called for the evacuation yesterday. Ugh. Do they think that war with Iran will help their popularity? I think they're hoping for it, yeah. Like, genuinely, Republicans tend to, benefit from going to war. The rally around the flag effect. George W. Bush was very familiar with that one. Let's open up Al Jazeera here. Let's see. Israel launches attack on Iran, explosions in downtown Tehran. Israel's defense minister, Israel Katz, said Israel had waged the attack to preemptively remove threats to the state of Israel. I do get the impression that Iran is probably not going to be super restrained in any kind of response this time. The Associated Press is reporting that one of the strikes took place near the offices of Iran's supreme leader, Ayatollah Ali Khamenei. Again, this is all happening like right now, so our level of information is going to be low and slow as things unfold. I think that really what's going to be happening here is this has the potential to boil over into a much bigger conflict. And I think if I had to give my assessment at this point, it would be America and Israel are like the dog chasing the car. And it has the potential to be a situation where the dog catches the car. Which, not great for the dog. Not great for the car either. Not great for really anyone involved. I mean, honestly, Doc RDC, they didn't even bother to really try manufacturing consent for this. Like, no one wants a war with Iran right now. Especially not because, like, Donald Trump is the reason this is happening at all. Donald Trump is the reason that there were negotiations happening at all right now, because he got into office back in 2016 and tore up like the Iran nuclear agreement that prevented them from getting nuclear weapons in the first place. Like, the whole, they're a week away from getting nuclear weapons thing was literally his doing, because he ripped up the agreement that stopped them from getting nuclear weapons. It's stupid as hell. Republicans want to bring on the end times. They do want to bring on the end times, but this is not really their... Republicans want to bring on the end times by putting all of the Jewish people in Israel and fulfilling, like, biblical prophecy. They don't really want to bring on the end times by, like, starting wars with Iran. They want to start wars with Iran for a variety of other reasons unrelated to that one. But I think maybe our saving grace here is that, again, they do not have the ammunition for a prolonged conflict, which should become pretty apparent if this goes on for several days. Is it really all about ratings for him to attack Iran? Yes. Yes, he's the reality TV president. He put podcasters in charge of, like, the FBI. Like, it is all about... He picked... like, his military leaders on the basis of how good they looked on camera. Like, dude only cares about his ratings. He only cares about how he comes across in, like, the media. And if he is having terrible ratings in the polls, then yeah, he's gonna do a Hail Mary to try and make himself look good, to try and get that rally around the flag perception that, like, Bush got, for example. And some people might fall for that. It might actually work in the short term. But it's absolutely insane that this is happening after, like, so many people over the last, like, couple years were like, Donald Trump's the peace president. He's not gonna do war. Look at all of the wars he's ended. He even talks about all of the wars he's ended nonstop. Yeah, he got the FIFA Peace Prize. Super important. U.S. officials say they expect this attack to be far more extensive than the American strikes last June against Iranian nuclear facilities. Oh, great. Cool. So we're not targeting specific, nuclear sites. We're just straight up going for all of their military sites. Cool. How are you going to bomb civilian areas and say you want to protect the people? Well, they're just going to lie. I mean, like, this administration has learned that they can just lie and get away with it, you know? That's it. We got live UA map stuff going on here yet. Ooh, as of 19 hours ago, all U.S. Air Force tanker aircraft have been evacuated from the airbase in Qatar. So, yeah, this seems like it's happening. Okay, Israel has shut down all of their airspace in response. Let's get the Associated Press as well. The AP seems to be on top of some of these things. See, the United States is participating, though it was not immediately clear the full extent of its involvement, according to a U.S. official. Okay, it's not clear. Oh, they don't know if they got Khomeini yet. I guess they're trying to do a decapitation strike, but the issue with trying to do decapitation strikes in Iran is that Iran actually has like a functional bureaucracy. It's not like a strongman dictatorship. There are multiple levels. It's very much like Venezuela, where okay, you can remove one guy, but like there are like 5 guys below him that can take his job, and then like 100 guys below those guys that can take his job, their jobs, and like it's not possible to do an effective decapitation strike against Iran. That's part of the reason you build a bureaucracy, so that like people can be replaced in a state of war, And the Ayatollah of Iran also has replacements. All that would happen if you killed the Ayatollah of Iran, if you killed Khomeini, would be that someone would take his place and everyone in Iran would be fucking pissed off. This would not be like everyone lays down their arms situation and then is ready to sing Kumbaya. No, that is not what would happen. I mean, they didn't even manage to do a regime change in Venezuela. For all of the pomp and circumstance around how great that mission was or whatever, like, the same administration is in charge. Got a new update from the New York Times. Dozens of U.S. strikes are being carried out by attack planes based at bases around the Middle East and from one or more aircraft carriers. Again, preventative attack, but no clear, like, reason.
Stay with this story and bring in Al Jazeera's Noor O'Day. She's in Ramallah for us in the occupied West Bank. Noor, just tell us what's going on in Israel at the moment.
Here, I'm gonna just play the audio. Gotta be careful.
Well, right now, the Israeli army has confirmed that it has launched what it calls a preemptive attack against Iran. It has declared a state of emergency throughout the country and asked citizens to be close to a shelter, whether in their homes, a safe room, or a public shelter. For now, there are no details about the targets of those attacks, but we understand that this is a campaign that Israel has launched, of course, in line with its publicly stated policy that Iran poses a threat to the safety of Israel, and its allegations that its missiles and its nuclear enrichment program also pose a threat, having repeatedly said that the negotiations with the United States were not going to go anywhere and should not have been trusted to begin with.
Yeah, we're getting some footage here of initial explosions at Mehrabad Airport in Tehran. I mean, yeah, I imagine that how the Trump administration expects this to go is essentially, we'll topple the leaders of Iran, and then the pro-democracy movement will sweep in to fight the rest of them, and we won't have to do a thing. And I just don't think that that's how that's going to go. Because the rally behind the flag effect goes both ways. Like, people rally behind the flag after an attack, They also rally behind the flag after they've been attacked. I just, it's gonna be bad. So this is the map of the damage so far, where has been struck. This is Tehran underneath that. Got a couple other strikes around here. So this is what we got so far. Not great. They hit the center where the national secretary and the presidency resides. Yeah, they're trying to do a decapitation. The strikes came after Trump grew frustrated with the negotiations over Iran's nuclear program. Steve Wick. Well, and a large reason why he's frustrated with negotiations really goes back to Obama. Specifically because Donald Trump thinks that anything that Obama could do, he could do, because he's a white supremacist, you know? And he's really frustrated that he can't get Iran to agree to a nuclear deal like Obama was able to. And like this, I mean, this obsession really seems like it played a role here. The strikes came after Trump grew frustrated with negotiations over Iran's nuclear program. Steve Witkoff and Jared Kushner, his envoys. You know, again, Jared Kushner, just some guy who's the president's son-in-law. Jared Kushner has no official position within the Trump government at all. His envoys met with Iranian officials in Geneva on Thursday, but Trump said on Friday that he was not happy with the talks. Trump said Friday morning that he had not made a decision about whether to launch military action and that he would love not to use force, but sometimes you have to. Which, again, it's just a fucking lie. They knew if they were going to do this attack on a little bit longer of a time scale than just this morning. Okay? Representative Thomas Massey, Republican of Kentucky, says lawmakers intended to hold votes next week to prohibit Trump from authorizing strikes without consulting Congress, an issue that may be considered moot by many given U.S. involvement in military action today, which is why I had heard that they were going to plan votes for this week. So I'm particularly frustrated by Thomas Massey being like, well, we were going to do it next week. You should have done it this week. You knew exactly what the fuck was happening. You knew exactly what kind of president we have. You know what he is. The U.S. stole a ton of money from Iran. Well, yes. There was a bunch of money being withheld from Iran, and the United States just kind of took it. And there were a lot of other parts of the Iran nuclear deal that, got fucked over irrevocably. Israeli military is closing all of the schools, workplaces, and public gatherings as they prep for a response from Iran. Because almost certainly they're going to respond. Oh, God. Al Jazeera putting out some analysis saying that Israel forced Trump's hand. Israel has been quite vocal about its intentions to sabotage U.S.-Iran negotiations. As it did last June, it appears to have launched an attack designed to derail the negotiations. Yeah, I think President Donald Trump had pushed himself into a corner from which he couldn't back out. That so-called armada, the massive military buildup, the constant green lights to Israel over the last year and a half. And so I think in many ways, yet again, what we see is the Israelis forced Donald Trump's hand, and he couldn't really say no to them at this juncture. Yeah, they played him like a goddamn fiddle. They aimed to dismantle Iran's security apparatus. This isn't going to work. Like, the issue here, it's just not going to work. Iran's military is advanced. It's large. It is capable. Like, you aren't going to be able to dismantle the security apparatus of Iran. Like, you can't win a war with just airstrikes. Number one, you cannot topple a government with just airstrikes. It just doesn't work that way. And on top of that, if your goal is to stop the Iranian military from being able to operate, I got really bad news for you. Airstrikes, especially in Iran, are not going to do shit for you, considering that they have military bases located in Iran. Iran is a fucking fortress country. Like, they're a regional power. They aren't just like a random isolated place. They have other strategic allies in the region. They have like capabilities that they have not used yet because they have been trying to de-escalate tensions. But if the goal here is accurately being reported on as of like 2 minutes ago by Al Jazeera, that they're trying to dismantle the entirety of the Iranian security apparatus, this is going to be a much more prolonged engagement, and we're going to lose. Like we're going to lose if this is a long war and not just like a limited strike. Iran is that kid who talks softly and can beat the shit out of folks. Yeah, exactly. Yeah. Like Iran can't, like, let me put it this way. Iran is not capable of like invading the United States and like defeating us as like an aggressor. Iran is fully capable of stopping us, short of like the United States fully being mobilized for war and getting a draft and all that, like, which there is not an appetite for that in this country. I guess that would work well for Trump to have it drawn out, but the issue is logistically it can't happen. We don't have the arms or ammo necessary to make that happen. We don't have the ability to do it. They literally call Iran like the graveyard of empires. And Donald Trump just marched a bunch of our military straight up to Iran's doorstep. This is so stupid. Ahead of the strikes, U.S. officials say they expected that Iran would retaliate swiftly against any attack and likely launch missile strikes on American bases and embassies. Tehran's proxy network of paramilitary forces is also expected to strike at American interests in the region. The reason for the sizable military buildup was, in part, to protect American bases from any Iranian counterattack. Focus of America's strikes for the moment is Iran's military apparatus. Besides its nuclear facilities, Iran is believed to have more than 2,000 missiles, primarily short and medium-range ballistic missiles. These are scattered at launch sites across the country. Iran is also reporting disruptions to its cellular networks and internet. Israel has just apparently said that a second wave of airstrikes is en route to target that has happened, targeted regime leaders. So they're going for Iranian leadership. Yeah, I mean, like, this is a real, like, you don't want to get involved in Iran. This is like if you did Vietnam 2, but this time Vietnam has been working out and has bigger muscles and has been doing jujitsu, like, think they have a plan on hiding? Yes, absolutely. Absolutely all of their senior leadership has like safe houses to go to and like bunkers and such. Wasn't Vietnam 2 Afghanistan? Like I don't know how to say it more directly. Just no. This is the stupidest timeline. Yeah. The graveyard of empires referred to Afghanistan. It refers to a large section of like the Middle East, what basically roughly the area of Mesopotamia, which encompasses a lot of different areas in the Middle East. Yep. As of 1 minute ago, Iran is preparing for retaliation, and Iranian officials have told Reuters that they are tuning their response to be, quote, crushing. So, I guess we're gonna see how this goes. Just saw a video of Khomeini's residence being hit by what looked like a bunker buster of some kind. That doesn't surprise me. The Ministry of Intelligence got bombed in Tehran. Let's take a gander at that real quick. They are going for it, guys. Apparently, their state-run media is reporting that they've been hacked. I guess we're deploying some cyber warfare as well. The cities of Kermanshah, Karaj, Chabahar, and Tabriz have also been targeted, as well as Isfahan, Shiraz, Qom, and Tehran. Huckabee is warning U.S. citizens to stay near shelters. Jesus. According to Al Jazeera, attack on Iran could suggest one-and-done strike to secure a deal. Because we all know how much we want to make a deal with someone who just punched us in the face. Speaking to someone in the last few hours while speculation was growing of the possibility of some sort of military action. He suggested if there was military action, it was likely that in the form of his words, one and done. Yeah, that doesn't seem to be the case at the moment. How the fuck does that work as a negotiation tactic? It also contradicts earlier statements about how their aim is to topple Iranian security apparatus. So it's unlikely if their goal is to topple the Iranian security apparatus, a one and done deal is not going to do that. Great job, Mr. President. This will secure your deal and Nobel Peace Prize. Yeah. How the fuck it doesn't work as a negotiating tactic, Shootbang. It just doesn't. New York Times sharing this graphic just where one might expect missile ranges to be from Iran. Pretty wide range, as you can see. Did the U.S. attack Iran while I was in the shower? Seems like it. Iraq has closed its airspace in response. All air traffic is being shut down in Iraqi space. The good news is Donald Trump is taking this all very seriously, which is why he, instead of doing a press conference or anything, he posted a video of himself propped up like a Weekend at Bernie's guy on Truth Social. Look at how tough he looks. They had to marionette him with strings. Also, Truth Social sucks so much ass that you can't even watch it. He's not doing any interviews with other press or going in front of the cameras. He's just Truth Social posting as of 5 minutes ago. Let's try it again. It's so serious that he couldn't be bothered to get the media. I'm gonna go out on a limb and guess. It's not really a guess. He pre-recorded this. He fucking pre-recorded this video to go up after the attacks had started. He's probably asleep right now. He is probably asleep right now. Yeah, his last post on Truth Social is from 3 hours ago, talking about Minnesota autism payments and saying, I guess, that anyone who's getting treatment for autism in the state of Minnesota is scamming the government. To bombing Iran. Yeah, this is what the American people voted for sure. Yeah, if he was awake, he'd be posting, you know? I guess we'll leave it and see if it winds up loading, because it's not loading for me. This website sucks so much ass. The strikes on Iran come just hours after Israel targeted what it described as launch sites and underground shafts used by Hezbollah in southern Israel. In recent weeks, Israel has intensified its operations against the group, including an airstrike on the Bekaa Valley last week that killed 8 members, among them a commander. Cool stuff. Yeah, people are posting clips from the Truth Social video, but they're not. Ah, here it is. Got it.
A short time ago, the United States military began major combat operations in Iran. Our objective is to defend the American people by eliminating imminent threats from the Iranian regime, a vicious group of very hard.
He's reading the script. He's reading a fucking script. You can hear him read it. You can hear the mental gears grinding in order to read a goddamn script. He doesn't know what he's fucking talking about. He has to pause between each word.
Terrible people. Its menacing activities directly endanger the United States, our troops, our bases overseas, and our allies throughout the world. For 47 years, the Iranian regime has chanted death to America and waged an unending campaign of bloodshed and mass murder, targeting the United States, our troops, and the innocent people in many, many countries. Among the regime's very first acts was to back a violent takeover of the U.S. Embassy in Tehran, holding dozens of American hostages for 444 days. In 1983, Iran's proxies carried out the Marine barracks bombing in Beirut that killed 241 American military personnel. In 2000, they knew and were probably involved with the attack on the USS Cole, Many died.
And that's such a good reason to attack them 26 years later. Truly. What a brilliant maneuver, Mr. President.
Iranian forces killed and maimed hundreds of American service members in Iraq. The regime's proxies have continued to launch countless attacks against American forces stationed in the Middle East in recent years, as well as U.S. naval and commercial vessels in international shipping lanes. It's been mass terror, and we're not going to put up with it any longer. From Lebanon to Yemen and Syria to Iraq, the regime has armed, trained, and...
Why is the resolution so low? Because the one on Truth Social wasn't loading, so we had to find a different one.
...funded terrorist militias that have soaked the earth with blood and guts. And it was Iran's proxy, Hamas, that launched the monstrous October 7th attacks on Israel.
Well, also, that doesn't really answer your question, because he posted... The only place he personally posted the video was on Truth Social, a website so shitty that it couldn't even play the video when we clicked on it.
Slaughtering more than 1,000 innocent people, including 46 Americans, while taking 12 of our citizens hostage. It was brutal, something like the world has never seen before. Iran is the world's #1 state sponsor of terror, and just recently killed tens of thousands of its own citizens on the street as they protested. It has always been the policy of the United States, in particular, my administration, that this terrorist regime can never have a nuclear weapon. I'll say it again. They can never have a nuclear weapon.
Genuinely, though, the issue with this argument is they can never have a nuclear weapon. The reason they want a nuclear weapon is to prevent the United States and Israel from doing exactly this. The reason that they have been trying to get a nuclear weapon is to stop this particular thing from happening. Because they've seen what happens to countries that don't have nuclear weapons. Hey, does the United States roll up to North Korea with aircraft carriers and then conduct random bombing raids on North Korea? No, they don't. Like, it's a deterrent. And in a world where Donald Trump is throwing our weight around and, like, attacking places, decapitating regimes, etc., like, they don't want that to happen to them.
That is why in Operation Midnight Hammer last June, we obliterated the regime's nuclear program.
Oh, well, okay, wait. So we want to prevent them from getting a nuclear weapon, so we obliterated their nuclear program. So it should be fine now, right? It should be fine now, right? Everything's okay. I hate this clown.
Fordo, Natanz, and Isfahan. After that attack, we warned them never to resume their malicious pursuit of nuclear weapons, and we sought repeatedly to make a deal. We tried. They wanted to do it. They didn't want to do it. Again, they wanted to do it. They didn't want to do it. They didn't know what was happening. They just wanted to practice evil. But Iran refused, just as it has for decades and decades. They've rejected every opportunity to renounce their nuclear ambitions, and we can't take it anymore. Instead...
Yeah, I mean, effectively, he's trying to say, well, they've been waging a war against us for 50 years. We have to attack them, man. And I gotta be honest with you, as brain-cooked as MAGA supporters are, I think the vast majority of them have no interest in this. I don't think they're interested in this at all. Like, the Trump administration has not done the work to, like, try and convince people that this is necessary.
They attempted to rebuild their nuclear program and to continue developing long-range missiles that can now threaten our very good friends and allies in Europe, our troops stationed overseas, and could soon reach the American homeland. Just imagine how emboldened this regime would be if they ever had and actually were armed with nuclear weapons as a means to deliver their message. For these reasons, the United States military is undertaking a massive and ongoing operation to prevent this very wicked, radical dictatorship from threatening America and our core national security interests. We are going to destroy their missiles and raise their missile industry to the ground. It will be totally, again, obliterated.
You know, if that was true, we wouldn't have to do these attacks. We already know you lied about last time. Also, this is the head of Iran's national security in the Iranian parliament. We warned you. Now you have started down a path which end is no longer in your control.
We're going to annihilate their navy. We're going to ensure that the...
Again, this is not like, okay, I get the impression that this man is drunk on power and thinks that, oh, we can just do what we did with Venezuela. Iran is not a Venezuela situation at all. Like, they have the capacity to potentially, like, sink our aircraft carriers. You know, like, they have some capabilities that exceed that of a lot of other places, you know?
Region's terrorist proxies can no longer destabilize the region or the world and attack our...
Yeah, he also disregarded all of his generals telling him we didn't have the ammunition to do this.
Forces and no longer use their IEDs or roadside bombs, as they are sometimes called, to so gravely wound and kill thousands and thousands of people, including many Americans. And we will ensure that Iran does not obtain a nuclear weapon.
I'm sorry, why was he talking about IEDs?
And no longer use their IEDs to ensure that the region's terrorist proxies can no longer destabilize the region or the world and attack our forces, and no longer use their IEDs or...
They're going to use IEDs, bro. Like, IED literally stands for improvised explosive device. They're the thing these groups fall back on when they have no other tools. They're not the first thing someone goes to when they're well-funded and operating, you know, from a place of, like, getting supplies. They literally have to improvise the explosives. Does he mean ICBM? No, he's talking about IEDs from, like, the terrorist proxies that work or get limited funding from Iran. This would be like telling a country, you can no longer use grenades. You can no longer use any explosives of any kind. Like, it's just an insane thing. He's just, like, picking random bullshit to, like, nitpick about, essentially. Like, let's be real, IEDs have nothing to do with the reason he is ordering these airstrikes.
Or roadside bombs, as they are sometimes called, to so gravely wound and kill thousands and thousands of people, including many Americans. And we will ensure that Iran does not obtain a nuclear weapon. It's a very simple message. They will never have a nuclear weapon. This regime will soon learn that no one should challenge the strength and might of the United States Armed Forces. I built and rebuilt our military in my first administration, and there is no military on earth even close to its power, strength, or sophistication. My administration has taken every possible step to minimize the risk to U.S. personnel in the region.
You know Trump doesn't know what improvised means, or at least he's not connecting the dots.
I don't think he knows what IED even means. Also, Iran is reporting that President Pezeshkian is still alive and unharmed. Apparently, Israel is also carrying out airstrikes against Lebanon at this point. So, there's just a huge fucking conflagration happening across the Middle East today.
Even so, and I do not make this statement lightly, the Iranian regime seeks to kill. The lives of courageous American heroes may be lost, and we may have casualties.
Oh yeah, no, that's what, a lot of MAGA people are pretty okay with soldiers being killed, right? For no reason. That's what making America great again means, right?
That often happens in war, but we're doing this.
That often happens in war. Fuck this guy.
Not for now. We're doing this for the future, and it is a noble mission. We pray for every service member as they selflessly risk their lives to ensure that Americans and our children will.
The good news is, Annalise Azura, there is no way for him to do an invasion here. We do not have the logistical line to do that.
Never be threatened by a nuclear-armed Iran. We ask God to protect all of our heroes in harm's way, and we trust that, with his help, the men and women of the armed forces will prevail. We have the greatest in the world, and they will prevail. To the members of the Islamic Revolutionary Guard, the armed forces, and all of the police.
Also, it's very clear to me that they had to stitch this together. Did you hear that audio, Skip?
The greatest in the world, and they will prevail. To the members of the...
Yeah, like, they literally had to, cut it together because he had to take breaks between these different portions. It's an 8-minute video. I've been live for 3 hours and 40 minutes.
Islamic Revolutionary Guard, the armed forces, and all of the police, I say tonight that you must lay down your weapons and have complete immunity, or, in the alternative, face certain death. So, lay down your arms. You will be treated fairly with total immunity, or you will face certain death. Finally, to the great...
God.
Not a religious person myself, but this man invoking God's protection is disgusting.
It really, really is. Also, the New York Times is reporting as of 2 minutes ago that apparently the foreign minister of Oman, who was mediating the peace talks between Iran and the United States, flew to Washington earlier today to argue that progress was being made towards a deal. And he is saying that Tehran had agreed never to stockpile enriched uranium and making the enrichment argument less relevant. And apparently Iran refused to discuss, giving up enrichment entirely or limiting the range of its ballistic missiles, and to cut off support to other areas in the region. So the argument about a WMD is just bullshit. It's just fucking bullshit. They're trying to do fucking Iraq, but without any of the manufacturing of consent. It's insane. It's insane. And the reason Trump is trying to do this, and the Trump administration is trying to do this, is because they don't think they need to manufacture consent, because they believe they already have all of the power in this situation. And to be very clear, they don't. It is just a colossal miscalculation on their part.
Great, proud people of Iran, I say tonight that the hour of your freedom is at hand. Stay sheltered. Don't leave your home. It's very dangerous outside. Bombs.
Yeah, don't leave your home. That we could also bomb.
Bombs will be dropping everywhere. When we are finished, take over your government. It will be yours to take.
He's so stupid. He's so stupid. He genuinely believes that after we finish a couple bombing runs, the people of Iran are going to rise up and overthrow the Iranian government. He genuinely thinks that. He's literally calling for them to do that. Just stay inside and then go outside, and you could just walk into the parliament. You'll have it now. It's yours. Oh, God, this is stupid. This is fucking stupid. This is so fucking stupid. Apparently, all landlines have been cut and are down in Tehran. Only mobile phones have reception.
Just encouraging an insurrection another January 6th, I see.
Uh-huh. This has to be done. It really doesn't. Yeah, reality feels like it's taken on, a psychic toll.
This will be probably your only chance for generations. For many years, you have
Hey, Crawlspace, you wanna sign up first for the draft? Be my guest.
You've asked for America's help, but you never got it. No president was willing to do what I am willing to do tonight. Now you have a president who is giving you what you want. So let's see how you respond. America is backing you with overwhelming strength and devastating force. Now is the time.
Yeah, no. You should totally trust this guy. No, he would never screw over our allies. What's that? Oh, don't look up what he did to the Kurds? Oh, okay. No, we just trust him implicitly. He's got our back, guys. No one's stupid enough to bet an entire revolution on this man. No one would do that. Anyone who has ever interacted with the US government would be right to distrust the US government. And that is only multiplied like 1,000-fold for the Trump being in charge of it. Yeah, the people that did bet are already dead. You're right.
To seize control of your destiny and to unleash the prosperous and glorious future that is.
Honestly, Shootbang, that's a good idea. Folks, go call, like right now. Go open up 5calls.org and call your elected representatives and senators and tell them to impeach this motherfucker. This is fucking insane.
Close within your reach. This is the moment for action. Do not let it pass.
Why is he always wearing dumb hats now? Because he's dying. He's old and dying. It's why he hasn't been seen in public for days.
May God bless the brave men and women of America's armed forces. May God bless the United States of America. May God bless you all. Thank you.
Okay, so apparently the Israeli forces have targeted the Ministry of Intelligence, which we knew about, the Ministry of Defense, makes sense, Atomic Energy Organization of Iran, and the Parchin military complex. That's what they are attacking at the moment. The Iranian government has not issued any official statement about the attack so far, but I imagine that is because they are preparing to retaliate. Yeah, I can't imagine why Iran has art like "Down with the USA" on its buildings when they get bombed by us routinely. Oh, you know what's great? One thing I do appreciate about the insanity of the Israeli government, like just the hell-bent monstrosity of the Israeli government. I like that they will just come right out and fuck up any kind of narrative that the Trump administration is trying to do to legitimize itself.
This is the second time I've been watching Riverboat, Jack, and I hear we've just bombed Iran, third time if you expand that to countries in general.
Yep. As of 5 minutes ago, Reuters is reporting an Israeli official says that this joint attack date was decided weeks ago. So none of the negotiations mattered at all. They've been planning this operation for months and had the launch date of this attack weeks ago. None of the negotiations mattered at all. The talks were buying time, that's all. It's the same thing they did with Venezuela. He's trying to get the same thing that happened with Venezuela to happen in Iran. And it's just not going to be that, you know? It's just not going to do that. God. Also, Nathan, thank you for the $5 donos. I appreciate you supporting the stream, even on nights like tonight. Hit that follow button, hit the subscribe button, hit the like button if you're getting anything out of this. We're going to be keeping an eye on it for a while. And support the show if you're getting anything out of that, of value out of this. So, very appreciated. Welcome to another forever war. Maybe. We'll see. They've been talking about it in the news and watching the aircraft carriers, etc. fleet move over there publicly. Yeah, I mean, of course they are. And of course we are. OMG, are you telling us Trump is a fucking liar? Yeah, breaking news, I know. Who cares? Our military members care. People in Iran certainly care. Probably the people who are going to be hit by Iran's various capacities care. Do you want your family to be killed by, like, Iranian-backed terrorists? No? Then maybe you should care. I don't know. Anyone with a functioning frontal lobe cares. True. Yeah, basically every analyst that they are reaching out to, these various news orgs, is saying, yeah, this isn't going to result in anything positive. We're not going to end their nuclear program. We're not going to end...
Zero.
Shit, essentially. B for Brain, thank you for the $10 dono. I very, very much appreciate it. Let's see here. Edward King, president of Defense Priorities, a think tank that advocates a restrained foreign policy, said diplomacy would have been a better path. No shit. Oh, I'm sure Iran was prepared for this outcome. Like, they've been bombed before. It's not like they were just, like, sitting there going, didn't think anything might come their way. Like, I'm sure that they were in some way prepared for this. U.S. Embassy in Bahrain is implementing a shelter-in-place order. Okay, several residents of Tehran are saying there's been no direction from the government so far. Sirens are not sounding. State radio and television outlets are not giving people guidance on where to go and what to do. That is probably a result of the cyber attack that has been unfolding. What's going to happen is what happened in Venezuela. They'll kidnap a guy, claim victory, and everything's still the same. Maybe. I don't think they're even going to kidnap a guy this time. I don't think they're going to be able to. Yeah, I don't think they're going to be able to kidnap the leader of Iran. Let's see, anything useful from AP? Mobile phone internet service has been cut in Iran, so they aren't seeing Donald Trump's address to them. No, AP reporting no immediate signs of protests or unrest in Tehran after the attacks, which are apparently still ongoing, so I'm not sure that they're done. Airstrikes as of a few minutes ago are apparently targeting Iran's navy. And now Iran state television is apparently operational enough to announce that Iran is ready to retaliate against Israel. So, do you think the Ayatollah will go hide out in a Russian embassy? No, I think the Ayatollah will go into a bunker. Good, they're a terrorist state. Hey, Randy, you ready to send your kids to go die in Iran? You ready to send your neighbor's kids to go die in Iran? Stupid bitch. I don't think Israel cares about embassies. That's true. Israel doesn't care about embassies. To stop a terrorist, are you a coward? Dude, you don't know what you're talking about. You genuinely have no idea. Randy, why don't you go fly over to Iran right now? You're not a coward, right, Randy? Take your kids, go fly over to Iran. Go stand in the middle of the street and look up at the sky and hope you don't die. Why are you a coward over here commenting on my stream instead of valiantly liberating Iran, Randy? You stupid assholes. It's always the stupidest people who wish the most death upon the world. You're on their side, or are you American? Randy, Iran has never done anything to America in my lifetime that has affected my life at all. Why should I wish the US military and my tax dollars and my friends and my kids to go over there and kill their friends and kids and neighbors? Why would I want that, Randy? You're the one saying, oh, no, we have to send $1 trillion of military equipment to Iran in order to murder civilians, Randy. And then you're trying to frame it as if that's brave. You wouldn't know your ass from a hole in the ground? You don't know your ass from a hole in the ground, Randy. They're a fucking nation of tens of millions of people. Tens of millions of people who wake up, go to work, come back, want to grill and chill, and you're sitting over here being like, yeah, we gotta go murder them. God, people are stupid. What a hateful piece of shit. And Randy, don't pretend like you woke up today thinking, oh boy, we gotta go fight Iran. It's my #1 priority. Shut the fuck up, Randy. You woke up today and you were like, oh God, I gotta drink some water. I gotta go to work. My bitch of a wife won't get off my back. This became your #1 thing the second you thought it could be used as a cudgel to hurt people you don't like. That's it. You didn't give a fuck about this issue until Donald Trump told you to give a fuck about it. Because you guys never think for yourselves. 2 minutes ago, Israeli military detecting ballistic missiles launched from Iran. So it is on the way. So we'll see how this goes. We're going to learn a lot from the nature of this attack on exactly how Iran is trying to proceed. Yeah, it's a lot easier to gamble with people's lives when those lives are abstract to you, you know? Folks like Randy, they don't actually give a fuck because they don't think it really is real, you know? Every single MAGA person who's pro-war is, essentially LARPing in their own head about being Rambo and also simultaneously the best Hearts of Iron 4 player to ever exist. And in their minds, that's all it is. It's just numbers on a spreadsheet changing in response to like a video game. You know? Like it's not real to the people who are salivating over the fucking death and destruction on the other side of the world, because it doesn't affect them. They're not going to go to work past a crater from a bomb, tomorrow. They're not going to have to attend several funerals in a day because an entire block just got blown up. It's not real to them. They aren't brave. They're just talking shit like it's a water cooler moment from a television show. That's it. As far as like MAGA pro-war people are, that's how they think of this. It's just a new episode of TV. Apparently, according to US officials, the United States is planning a multi-day operation against Iran, so it's not just going to be a single strike tonight. It is going to be a more prolonged engagement. So this is going to be horrible. That's according to Al Jazeera. Missiles are now hitting northern Israel. No word on damage yet. This is the number of missile alerts in Israel at the moment. So I think we can safely say Iran has chosen the not restrained route. Though I guess it remains to be seen whether or not they will use their more advanced weaponry, which is more destructive.
To every MAGA and righty watching, I know this won't reach you, but please condemn this from the Iranian citizens' perspective. Think about their life. Should they defend their home, their country, their fam?
Also, Nathan, thank you for the $5 dono, and yeah. According to the New York Times, hours before the attacks began, senior officials from Arab states and European allies were saying that the White House was still not telling them what the objective of the strikes would be. Trump left no doubt in his video that it is regime change. When we are finished, take over your government, he said after the strikes began. So, yeah, apparently, again, just have to really emphasize, if reporting is true and that this attack has been in the works for months and that this date was picked weeks ago, the United States has just been jerking around and wasting the time of not only Iranian officials, but like all Middle Eastern officials who've been involved in these negotiations, including our own allies. Yeah, random adjectives. Iran is not going to continue to show restraint. And I am afraid of what that means. Personnel are apparently being evacuated from the Air Force Base in Qatar, but no clear reasoning given yet for said evacuations. Well, random adjectives, especially after the political unrest in Iran, like they have to have a strong response. They're kind of backed into a corner here. God. Also, I am interested to see, in a deeply sad way, how Americans are going to react when soldiers start dying from this operation. Donald Trump is already deeply unpopular in America, regardless of what his diehard supporters say. Most people in America, the majority of Americans, hate this guy. And as soldiers start dying, I think it's going to get a lot worse. Apparently, Jordan is sounding sirens now.
In all of this, I think the dumbest thing is that regime change would have been possible through the peaceful route. For Christ's sake, Iran had protests in the street.
That is the thing, right? Like, Iran had been on a path to, like, mediating itself and normalizing itself prior to Donald Trump ripping up the nuclear agreement. And even after that, was largely on the road to doing that. But bombing it does not help it get better. We got some flight radar of Iran's airspace. And this is projected to go on for several days. So, unknown at this time. I'm still, like, genuinely, what he expects to happen is for the Iranian people to rise up and overthrow the government, but I genuinely don't know that, I don't think that they're going to do that. I don't think that they're going to do that. I don't think they're going to trust Trump to not kill them. You didn't want time off for your weekend, did you? I really did. Elephant activist, if we're able to flip Congress in the midterms, both the House and the Senate, we should go for an impeachment and conviction and removal. Like, in normal circumstances, this would certainly be a breaking point. This would be like a emergency session of Congress and like impeachment and removal effort. You know, like this is, by the way, everything about this is unconstitutional. Everything about this is illegal. And none of the media that I am looking at right now is calling that out. Donald Trump and the president is not supposed to have the ability to do prolonged, war. They're not supposed to have the ability to levy war, which is exactly what is happening here. Call your elected representatives, call your senators, and tell them to impeach this motherfucker. Do it now. We 5calls.org, okay, if you haven't yet. They, again, and I want to clarify, what they effectively want to do here is to kill Iran's leadership and then have the people of Iran rise up and do the boots on the ground work to seize control of the country. They're trying to do this because they do not want to have American boots on the ground in Iran. But I don't think that this is going to work. We should have tried W and his whole fucking cabinet. We should still do that. Any kind of truth and reconciliation committee that prosecutes these clowns should go all the way back to Bush. But Jack, that's not what they're trying to do. That is what they're trying to do. Like that is straight up what they're trying to do. They're stupid fucking morons. They're doing the stupid fucking moron play. They don't have the capacity to put boots on the ground in Iran right now. You cannot topple a government without boots on the ground. And what they want to do is topple this fucking government. They're trying to get the Iranian people to be the boots on the ground. They don't care. Yes! I know that they don't care about Iranian people. That's why they're fucking bombing the capital city. I know that they don't care. I am aware. Did you think that when I said they want the Iranian people to be the boots on the ground, it's because they have some beneficent goal for the people of Iran? No! They don't! They want the Iranian people to be the boots on the ground so that Iranians can die. They want to throw Iranians in the wood chipper. Like, god damn. It makes their plan more evil. That needs to be said. I was saying it. I thought I was being extraordinarily clear. Their goal is to put Iranian civilians in harm's way, as evidenced by literally everything they're doing. Also, it's very likely that Iran learned from the last time it tested Iron Dome defenses, and now they're going to be far more successful at getting missiles through. Yeah, Netanyahu is putting out statements saying that their goal is to end the threat of Iranians' Ayatollah regime. So yeah, they're going full on do or die. Yeah, Reuters now also confirming that they're planning to spend multi-day campaign. Also, I'm not entirely sure how Trump expects any of Iran's Revolutionary Guard to actually surrender. Like, throw down your weapons and you will get complete immunity. Like, how do you think that's going to work? Like, how exactly do you think that's going to work? Get complete immunity from whom? Exactly. The warplanes that are dropping bombs indiscriminately? Yeah, wave a white flag at an Israeli missile. Exactly, Ms. Molina. God, okay, the New York Times just updated Trump's call for Iran's Revolutionary Guard forces to surrender with the promise of complete immunity added a particularly unusual element to the speech. Because the campaign appears to largely be an air operation, there is no one for them to surrender to, no one to take them prisoner, or to implement Trump's offer of total immunity. Yes. Yes, it does. It does kind of seem like complete and utter bullshit, doesn't it? A second wave of missiles has been launched towards Israel. Okay, Al Jazeera is reporting, quote, "For now, what we know is President Pezeshkian isn't harmed. The supreme leader wasn't in the complex, but this attack, it's clear, is mainly aimed at decapitating the political elite." How the degree of success this attack had is unknown at this time, but they failed to take out the two biggest targets. Netanyahu also doing the whole, it's time for Iranians to rise up. Air defenses have been activated in Tehran as of 4 minutes ago. Yep, we're just trading missiles now. Updated map of missile strikes, this time around Tel Aviv, or missile alerts rather. God, I fucking hate Mike Huckabee so goddamn much.
How long before there's a leak that Jared Kushner has a real estate plan for Tehran like he does for Gaza?
It's really easy for Jared Kushner to come up with real estate plans, because all he has to say is, Trump Tower, Tehran. That's it. That's all he has to say. Also, Squirrel Knitter, thank you for the $5 super chat and supporting the stream even on a night like tonight where we're not doing pre-prepared content. Think that Iran will attack the US? Almost certainly, in some capacity at this point. Mike Huckabee, who's the ambassador to Israel, has said, "Thank you, POTUS, for strong American leadership to stop the killing and threats to Americans for the past 47 years. You gave them many chances to do it peacefully, and they said no. Even as I sit in the bullseye of it, I'm grateful for a strong president and a strong America." And I just have to respond to that by, like, you're not sitting in the bullseye of it, sir. Like, the bullseye is the target of the operations. The bullseye would be Iran. That's like saying, I was targeted with an assault after you began the assault. Like, oh, my stars and garters, he fought back after I punched him in the face. Isn't that guy like an insane Zionist? He is. Yes, Mike Huckabee is an insane Zionist. Like, Huckabee is 1000% on board with the Greater Israel Project, which is essentially to expand Israel's settler colonialism beyond just its current borders, and beyond the settlements to include portions of the countries that surround Israel. Mike Huckabee is on board with that project because Mike Huckabee is a Christian evangelical who believes that he is playing a key role in bringing about the second coming of Christ, which will result in the destruction of Jews and the ascension of Christians. Is this like a weird B-movie thing? No, sadly. It's really, really pathetic, you know? He genuinely thinks he's essentially conducting a ritual to summon Christ too. And that sounds like a joke, but it's genuinely what he thinks he's doing. Ultimasis, the US and Israel have revealed that all of the peace talks with Iran were a ruse, and that months ago they began planning a joint attack, and then weeks ago they picked today's date to attack Iran, and they are now going all out attacking Iran as Iran trades missiles and goes all out to attack Israel. So we're watching history unfold, and it's fucking horrible. It's fucking horrible. Also, we got conservatives who are just so bloodthirsty that they can't contain themselves and they have to seek out my stream. It's really disgusting when conservatives have degenerated to the point where the only way they can get a boner is by watching people die. It's true, MAGA has essentially become a death cult, which is why the only thing they get off to anymore is death. Qatar is putting out statements about how they're okay, so that's good. Oh, good. Cool. Apparently, the top Democrat on the Senate Armed Services Committee was not notified of the strikes in advance. Again, something that the administration is legally obligated to do, and something that will result in absolutely no consequences for anyone involved. Can we stop calling these Nazis conservatives? Well, Nazis are conservatives. I'm painting a broader brush than just the Nazis. Because I want to make sure if you are someone who identifies as a moderate conservative, this is also on you too. And chances are the people calling themselves moderate conservatives these days are fucking Nazis. I'm glad this stream is here. I don't have anyone in my life who isn't a piece of shit. Like, I'm sure my cousin will be flabbergasted, but she's Catholic, so she's not going to be devastated. I don't look forward to our grocery run tomorrow. I'm sorry to hear that, Chillin' Millins. That's what they literally are, though. Yeah, but you have to understand, there are conservatives who are still liberal, and I know that this might be a confusing distinction to make, but when I say liberal in this particular context, what I'm talking about is have a belief in like liberal democracy, have a belief in like some of those democratic ideas. They might still be like fiscally conservative and want like lower taxes, but they aren't on board with like the anti-democracy, like we have to dismantle the state and give authoritarian power to this guy. I like kind of like the Republicans from like the 1970s, you know, still very racist, but we're essentially what neoliberals are today. There are still conservatives like that exist. And I want to say conservatives so that they're included in who to blame for what's happening here, because they, despite having a belief in that liberal democracy, really have wanted to go to war with Iran for like 50 years. So that's why I'm being broad rather than referring to just the MAGA movement, which is, again, a Nazi movement. So hopefully that makes sense. Yeah, Shadowmar, we talked about air defense being active over Tehran a while back. What other updates we got? Isfahan is being hit again. So that is happening now. Let's see. Oh, this is a really useful map to give you just an overhead idea of what is happening at this point in time. Thank you, Al Jazeera. So these are where the main strikes have been taking place so far. The U.S. Navy is down here. So this is where we're at. These are where the main strikes are happening. Why hit Isfahan? My understanding is that there is a military base in Isfahan. Yeah, Isfahan has an airbase in it. And I believe there was also a nuclear site in Isfahan. But don't quote... Yes, there was an Isfahan nuclear complex. Oh, good. The Houthis have announced in Yemen that they have that they are going to again resume missile and drone attacks on shipping routes and on Israel to come to the aid of Iran. They are planning their first strikes as of tonight. Oh fuck, this is bad. Yeah, not great. The U.S. Navy is apparently utilizing its Tomahawk missiles to conduct ship-based strikes on Iran. Tehran is continuing to be bombed. Iran's state media is announcing that it has emerged from the cyber attack and it is back to being operational. God, you, Ms. Milena, you were right. The Pentagon is apparently calling this war Operation Epic Fury. No fucking way. Yeah. Elon named that somehow. It's so fucking... Everything is awful. Iran seems to have targeted Jerusalem with this latest volley. Apparently, the Iron Dome is intercepting incoming missiles over Jerusalem. And that is where we're at there. Explosions are being heard over Damascus. In Syria, supposedly over interceptions of Iranian missiles from Israel. Or by Israel, rather. Ukrainian, yes, we did. We've gotten through two of the stories, and then we got derailed by, war happening. If Jerusalem is attacked, won't Palestinians also be victims? Depends on which part of Jerusalem. As of 26 seconds ago on Al Jazeera, Iran is saying it launched missiles and drones towards Israel. In response to the aggression of the hostile and criminal enemy against the Islamic Republic of Iran, the first wave of extensive missile and drone attacks by the Islamic Republic of Iran towards the occupied territories has begun. So I guess what we have seen so far from missile alerts are only preliminary. The first real wave has been launched. Additionally, Iran's internet access has been cut down to 4% of ordinary levels. So they have an almost total internet blackout in the state of Iran. How long does it take for the missiles to travel? It really depends on the missile. Can I just say that I fucking hate these guys in the United States military? I fucking hate Pete Hegseth. I fucking hate Donald Trump. I fucking hate everyone that has made this particular circumstance possible. Like, the war, the death, like, the bombs, the fact that we have now a Department of War that is posting on the child sex abuse material website and is just all caps posting the name of the operation they're doing to kill civilians. It's fucking disgusting. Like, every part of it is disgusting. Honestly, I'm still trying to figure out exactly what the hell is gonna happen here. Yeah, apparently officials familiar with the plans say that they wanted to achieve a degree of surprise, and that if they were to kill senior Iranian officials, they were most likely to succeed in the first round of strikes. Surprise with days worth of buildup and warning? Yeah. Well, Iranian officials still believed that negotiations were genuine and ongoing, and neither of those things were true. Iran has issued an order to governors across the country to remind them previous instructions and prompt reports on the situation in the provinces. Also, Max Danger, thank you so much for the 5 gifted memberships. I really, really appreciate the support. Thank you so goddamn much. They finally sparked the powder keg that's been on the razor's edge for the better part of a century. Yeah, I don't know exactly how this goes well for anyone involved. Because, I mean, this seems like the United States and Israel are united on conducting, like, a longer term than just this one-time strike and a longer-term attack campaign. And it really seems to me like you can't really say, like, it's a one-and-done type of strike, which is what a lot of people who thought strikes were likely were thinking it might be. This is bigger than a one-and-done. This is like, we are trying to end the government of Iran. And in its own interest, Iran is likely going to be retaliating as hard as it can to preserve itself. Also, Sake Tanuki, I'm so sorry. Your dono got cut off. I also hate the Dems for enabling the war crime state of Israel. Very true. God damn, Brutus Magnuson, thank you
Hope
so
this makes
fucking
things
much.
a bit less stressful. We could all use a good brain tingle. We work toward dismantling the violence of our culture.
It's true. It's true. That is, like, part of the movement, part of the international movement towards, freedom for all workers is freedom from these pointless fucking conflicts. What a stupid name for a military strike. Well, they're stupid people, you know? Iran is saying that all U.S.-Israel assets in the region are a legitimate target for retaliation. So this has some capacity to spill over quite a bit. New York Times verifying that it appears the presidential palace in Tehran and as well as Iran's National Security Council have been struck by missiles and bombs. Again, no word on any casualties yet from these attacks. Qatar is putting out a statement saying that their Patriot defense system has intercepted Iranian missiles. I do have to say, like, no effort has been put in to try and justify these attacks. None. None whatsoever. Not a single goddamn thing. Like, nothing that they're saying is like, well, Iran was, a clear and present danger, and so we had to fight them. Like, no, it's just genuinely bullshit. It's just genuinely like, well, they did a thing 30 years ago, so that's why we have to do this now. It's all bullshit. And like, I do have to say, I think this is gonna backfire pretty spectacularly among the American people. Like, I don't think when people wake up tomorrow, they're gonna be terribly pleased with this. Especially because I don't expect this to go particularly well. Jesus, how many people are going to die because overpaid frat bros want to start a fight? Literally overpaid frat bros, you know? Pete Hegseth, his idea of showing, like, solidarity with soldiers is like doing push-ups and drinking beer. Apparently, Al Jazeera is reporting explosions in Bahrain. Yeah, Live UA Map is a good site. The New York Times observing that few people have woken up to, in Congress, have woken up to news of these attacks. Yeah, they're not waking up. They're sleeping. They're sleeping like babies. It's why they do. It's why the Trump administration does it at this particular point in time. It's why they're doing the strikes now. Because if they were doing the strikes at night, it would be daytime here, and members of Congress would be awake. They're doing it specifically so that people at home aren't immediately reacting to it. It will be too late to do anything. Yeah, the live Al Jazeera coverage is really good. They've been really good at posting updates. The Associated Press has been doing absolutely dog shit with getting out updates. Do I think Big Oil has been behind the narrative that Iran has been seeking a nuclear weapon for all these decades? No. I do think that there is a genuine desire in Iran for a nuclear weapon. For very obvious reasons, because things like this wouldn't fucking happen if Iran had a nuclear weapon. If Iran had a nuclear weapon, they would not be fucking with Iran like this. That's why they want a nuclear weapon. The UAE has taken notice of the strikes now. Yeah, I imagine the UAE is going to be pretty fucking pissed about the situation going on in the Straits of Hormuz. Yeah, Ukraine gave up its nuclear weapons, and look where Ukraine is right now. Like, Iran doesn't want to be Ukraine. Yeah, there are explosions that look like they hit the ground in Bahrain.
You think we'll see any use of Chinese weapons here? I heard they sent anti-ship missiles, loitering munitions, drones, and might give hypersonics.
Well, so far, Balls Deep 6969, a chatter of sophistication. Thank you for the $5 super chat. What has been interesting to me is that there haven't been any reported attacks on American vessels, which I, for one, think might be in the cards here. Okay? But given that we haven't seen any aggression towards U.S., ships, I don't know that we're going to see Chinese anti-ship missiles, unless it becomes very clear that Iran has to defend itself against the Navy buildup. But in that respect, they are at a disadvantage. That being said, I do think we'll see the use of Chinese drones in the attack on Israel. I'd be surprised if China cares enough. Well, China itself doesn't care to get involved, but they're happy to sell, like, arms and ammunition to Iran, you know? Yeah, China has an interest in defending Iran, which is why China's all, like, happy to sell them stuff. China isn't going to get into a direct war alongside Iran. At least not against Israel and the United States directly. I wonder where Russia will fall. Probably also, well, no. Like, Russia needs all their shit, so they're probably not selling much to Iran. Qatar is advising all residents everywhere to stay indoors. Loud booms in the UAE? Where are you getting your information, J. LaRose? Yeah, has the UAE been hit? As of 2 minutes ago, the U.S. is recommending Americans in the UAE shelter in place. Oh, AP is saying The U.S. Navy's Fifth Fleet has been attacked in Bahrain. Oh shit! A huge explosion reported in Abu Dhabi. Explosions heard in Kuwait. Oh shit! They might be torching like the oil fields. They're either going after the oil fields or they're going after the or they're going after the military bases. You know, I think people are going to care about them fucking with the oil. But honestly, yeah. Yeah, Kuwait, Abu Dhabi, and the Fifth Fleet Base in Bahrain have been hit so far. Reuters and the AP are uncharacteristically behind on a lot of the reporting here so far. Yeah, Russia is basically just saying the United States has shown its true colors as as effectively a faithless, interlocutor. As of this minute, all Gulf countries have closed airspace. So Qatar, Kuwait, and the UAE are all closing their airspaces. The AP is reporting that according to a Dutch intelligence firm, the strikes by Israel in the U.S. suggest shaping actions designed to degrade air defenses typical of a longer-term and wider-scale military campaign. And, quote, this appears less like a symbolic strike and more like the opening phase of a coordinated campaign designed to establish air superiority and operational freedom of movement. Neutralizing radar systems, surface-to-air missile batteries, and command nodes would create more permissive conditions for sustained air operations over Iranian territory. Yeah, again, Israel is saying now to the AP, yeah, we coordinated this months in advance. Ha ha ha. So fun for them, I guess. Just missiles being intercepted above Jerusalem. So
they're right there. They're intercepted.
Like, it's really telling to me that one side is just like lollygagging around and just like looking out the window and be like, look, you can see him. Haha. Oh, big boom. Haha. It's like a fucking game, man. It's just the interception cloud up there. God. The lack of seriousness around all of this really pisses me off. Yeah, the United Arab Emirates just intercepted missiles over their capital, so that's cool. Apparently Iran just put out a statement that they've launched another wave of missiles and drones towards Israel, so they're going with a second wave of attacks. People are literally online betting over this shit. Yeah. One of the stories I wanted to talk about today was what's going on in Cuba. Just like a big overview of everything that's going on with Cuba. But the ending part of that story was talking about how it may be incredible. In my mind, I think it is likely that the attack that was done on Cuba's Coast Guard by a speedboat full of armed Floridians may have been an effort to try and, rig the betting market on, like, Kalshi about when the United States was going to strike Cuba. Heard about what's happening? You're right, Iran is relaxed because they've been doing this for decades with No, this isn't Iran. No, that footage wasn't from Iran. Iran is getting the shit bombed out of them right now. That footage was from Jerusalem. Is this all really real? This is all really real. I know that our current media ecosystem encourages us to treat none of this as real, like it's all just a fucking playground for betting, but no, this is unfortunately very real. Why did this start anyway? Is it because of the Hamas-Israel conflict? Benjamin Netanyahu, for decades, maybe I can actually find this clip compilation. Yeah, here we go.
You've probably heard this line before.
Iran has never given up its quest for nuclear weapons and the missiles to deliver them.
That's because Israeli Prime Minister Benjamin Netanyahu has been saying this for more than 30 years, claiming Iran is close to having
nuclear weapons. Nuclear weapons. Nuclear weapons. Atomic bombs.
In 1992, as a member of parliament, Netanyahu addresses the Knesset. He says, within 3 to 5 years, we can assume that Iran will become autonomous in its ability to develop and produce a nuclear bomb. 3 years later, in his book Fighting Terrorism, he repeats the same time frame, 3 to 5 years.
Thank you, Mr. Chairman.
Fast forward to 2002. Netanyahu testified.
Yes, the absolute worst case scenario is boots on the ground. 100%. It's why they're trying to do an air-only campaign and use the people of Iran as the boots on the ground.
Is before a U.S. congressional committee actively calling for the invasion of Iraq.
Are there any other nations that you would recommend that the United States launch preemptive attacks upon at this point?
The two nations that are vying, competing with each other, who will be the first to achieve nuclear weapons, is Iraq and Iran.
Like, I mean, he's been trying to get the United States to go to war with Iran for, like, ever.
The invasion happens months later. No weapons of...
Oh, God, Ms. Molina, I'm so glad that you heard back from your uncle. I know, like, communications have been down for quite some time. We're fine, there's nothing we can do. Yeah.
Mass destruction are found in Iraq. This is a fragment of a 2009 U.S. State Department cable released by WikiLeaks. Netanyahu tells members of Congress that Iran is 1 or 2 years away from being capable of developing nuclear weapons.
They're online.
It's 2012, and Netanyahu is holding up his infamous cartoon bomb at the UN General Assembly.
By next spring, at most, by next summer, at current enrichment rates, they will have finished the medium enrichment and move on to the final stage. From there, it's only a few months, possibly a few weeks, before they get enough enriched uranium for the first bomb.
And now, 33 years after Netanyahu's first so-called imminent warning, Israel attacks Iran.
And if not stopped, Iran could produce a nuclear weapon in a very short time. It could be a year, it could be within a few months, less than a year.
Now, I want to really emphasize here, this video is not from today. This video is from last year. It's from 8 months ago. From the attack when, you know, we were supposedly obliterated their nuclear capacity. So, like, it's just always been a bullshit excuse. So, part of it is settler colonialism, you know. Another part of it is Iran backs a lot of the groups that oppose Israel in the process of trying to build a greater Israel. Part of it is just personal animus against Iran on the part of Netanyahu. You know, part of it is the relationship between Iran and groups like Hamas, in particular. So that's why did he show a cartoon bomb? Because he was talking about how Iran was going to get a nuclear bomb and how close they were to a cartoonishly large bomb. I got to tell you, there's not a good reason here. There's not a good reason. It's just kind of like, it's been so long that he's hated Iran. Like, it's just another thing to hate. It's another thing to redirect, you know, the Israeli population's attention from the fact that Netanyahu is still in power. Like, I want to remind you all, it was like 4 years ago that Netanyahu tried to pass a bill that basically would have made him dictator for life with authority over the judicial branch of their government. And there were massive, massive protests. And one of the reasons he doubled down so hard after October 7th and turned this into a forever conflict with Gaza, you know, forever genocide, is because he needs to maintain the war posture of Israel in order to maintain his position as head of Israel. Otherwise, he goes to prison. In my mind, this is just another way for him to, you know, stoke the war effort for Israel. Like, that's it. He's Dark Angel, yeah. Yep, you are correct. Explosions are being heard in Kuwait. Qatar is getting warning signals on their phones. Iran's Foreign Affairs Ministry is saying that they've been attacked. Their territorial integrity and national sovereignty is being attacked, including defensive infrastructure and non-military locations in various cities across the country. And they're saying that this is a violation of international law and the UN Charter. Nightlight Plushy Jesus? Yes, indeed. So yeah, I mean, I do want to point out they are correct. They have the right to defend themselves under international law from this attack, and that this attack from Israel and the United States is a breaking of the UN Charter. Let's go, USA. I support my country. You support your country doing an illegal war and gambling with the lives of your countrymen? What, like, for no reason? That's fucking stupid, bro. That's fucking stupid. Stop it. That's like saying, well, you can only be patriotic if you throw a person into the wood chipper, and I support my country, so here I go, throwing my own grandfather into the wood chipper. I'm a patriot, are you? And I'm just sitting here like, it's not patriotic to throw your grandpa, an American citizen, into a wood chipper, bro. That's fucking stupid. Explosions in Qatar.
If I am not mistaken, we are average 1.5 indiscriminately bombing a country per year, and that will only continue or increase if we don't impeach Trump.
Oh, good looking out. I'll check out ABC Australia. Oh, good. Australian federal government. We support the United States. Thanks, Anthony Albanese. So good. So we really needed the support to do fucking terrorism. Okay, according to Bahrain, the U.S. Navy fleet has been targeted by a missile attack, not necessarily the shipyard or military base. They attacked the military base as well as the fleet? Interesting. Iran has apparently targeted U.S. military bases across the Persian Gulf states, in Qatar, Kuwait, UAE, Bahrain. As of 9 minutes ago, Israeli jets are raiding ballistic missile sites across western Iran. Wait, did they touch the boats? Unknown. We're not really getting a whole lot of reports of about the degree or extent of damages at this point. So it's unknown at this time. For a lot of, both for the initial strikes against Iran and Iran's retaliation, it's unknown exactly how effective any of this is.
I'm ashamed of my country joining in on this.
Matthew H., I'm ashamed of my country fucking doing this. Al Jazeera reporting 2 more explosions heard in Qatar, in Doha. 4 U.S. American strikes have hit an area southwest of Baghdad. Oh, likely due to some connection with Hezbollah. 4 minutes ago, the great test of history has arrived. The people of Iran are proud that they did everything possible to prevent war. Just as we were ready for negotiations, we are more prepared than ever to defend the Iranian nation. Oh, that's okay. Israeli military spokesman is calling on all residents near military installations in Iran to leave those areas. They're planning to do a This isn't war? I don't think that's correct. The US and Israel are attacking Iran, and Iran is attacking 5 different countries at once in response. Not ashamed of the USA, I'm ashamed of our government. Key difference. I think it's a difference with that distinction. Here we go. We got some footage here. So this is Tehran. People trying to go about their day. Yeah, you're right, Ms. Molina. Like their entire plan is to just say, you should evacuate around the military bases, and then just like fucking carpet bomb the area. How can they just go on like nothing is happening? I'd panic. Because you gotta get to where you want to go. You gotta like, like that's one of the weird parts about like occupation or war. Like life continues to go on. You gotta go to work. You gotta pay the bills. At a certain point, it's kind of like, well, I gotta do what I gotta do, and you just keep your head down and carry on. Panic can only be sustained for so long. Also, it's a country that's been through local wars. My stepmom used to tell me about how every night during the war with Iraq, there would be 2 missiles that struck Tehran. They could hear them. They never knew where they would land every night. Explosions reported in Riyadh, Saudi Arabia, in Urmia in western Iran. We now have some video of the explosion in Bahrain at the 5th Fleet headquarters.
Missile threat warning. Declarted shelter immediately. Shelter in place. Missile threat warning. Declarted shelter immediately. Shelter in place. Missile threat warning.
So like a pretty big missile hit, it looks like. I'm not an expert on these things, but that looks like a fucking serious hit right there. This is going pear-shaped quickly. Yeah, I mean, like, Trump knew that it was going to go pear-shaped quickly. It's why he talked about, some of you may die, but it's a risk I'm willing to take. Like he did a fucking Lord Farquaad in his speech. More explosions in Abu Dhabi and Dubai. Iran has confirmed target sites. Al Udeid Air Base in Qatar, Al Salem Air Base in Kuwait, Al Dhafra Air Base in UAE, and the 5th U.S. base in Bahrain have been targeted by Iran's missile attacks. So that seems to be what's going on here. They're specifically trying to cripple the U.S. ability to respond in the area. Would this finally push the senators to impeach Trump? Unfortunately, no, because Republican senators love this shit. This is the first time Lindsey Graham has felt something since the last time he saw a Broadway musical. Oh, that's true. Lindsey Graham was giddy over Venezuela. That's true. Oh, look. Donald Trump is truthing. Iran tried to interfere in 2024 elections to stop Trump and now faces renewed war with the United States. Oh, okay. Iran tried to steal the 2020 election and the 2024 election. Thanks for keeping us updated, Trump. What is even this article? I'm sorry, what is this news website? Before you go, please help support honest journalism.
I wrote a memo for the administration early on, which I sent to the White House and to the Justice Department, which I never got a response from them about, which bothered me immensely because it showed the lack of seriousness and organization. It is very clear that President Trump and private citizen Trump was the victim of a brazen plot conspiracy to deny him his civil rights, both as a candidate in 2016, as a private citizen thereafter, and as a candidate in 2020. The most shocking thing to me that there has been no discussion whatsoever of the famous Susan Rice memo on January the 20th, 2017, which she sent to herself, establishing that on January 5th, President Obama, Vice President Biden, John Brennan, Clapper, the director of the FBI, the DOJ Attorney General, met in the Oval Office and discussed an investigation into the incoming president of the United States, and the only thing...
Okay, but this has nothing to do with Iran. Oh, Trump briefed on real and specific assassination threats from Iran. So, this just seems like pretty par for the course. Like, I'm not gonna lie, it wouldn't surprise me if Iran has had, plans to try and attempt to kill, like, the last 5 presidents we've had. This is not a useful or good article at all. But okay. Thanks, Trump. Thanks for letting us know, buddy. We're glad you're up with us at 3 o'clock in the morning doing the hard work of posting. Let's see. What do we got? Iran makes war preparations with Iraqi militias. Two officials with different Iran-backed militias in Iraq told the Associated Press that a meeting took place 2 months ago between Iranian officials and allied Iraqi militias to make plans for a response in case Iran was attacked, including distributing tasks among the Iraqi armed groups. The officials spoke on conditions of anonymity because they were not authorized to comment publicly. One of the officials said it was decided that the response would target U.S. forces and interests in Iraq's semi-autonomous northern Kurdish region and in neighboring Jordan. U.S. troops have vacated bases where they were previously stationed in Iraq in areas under the control of the central government in Baghdad as a result of an agreement to end the military mission in Iraq of an American-led coalition fighting the Islamic State, but they remain in the Kurdish region. One of the most prominent Iraqi militias, Kataib Hezbollah, on Thursday issued a public statement urging its fighters to be prepared to engage in a war of attrition that may be prolonged and exceed the expectations of the U.S. administration. It also issued a warning to the Kurdish regional government in Iraq against collaborating with hostile foreign forces that could threaten its security in future. Okay, so this is going to get a lot bigger than just Iran. Another explosion heard in Abu Dhabi. The King Fahd Air Base in Saudi Arabia has been hit. Oh boy. A loud explosion heard in Tehran. Turkish Airlines is canceling flights to multiple destinations across the Middle East, including Qatar, Kuwait, Bahrain, UAE, Oman, Lebanon, Syria, Iraq, Iran, and Jordan. Yep, call your elected officials, folks. Demand impeachment against this motherfucker. Iraq and Yemen have joined Iran and are attacking multiple locations. That's not the case. Yemen's response is slated to begin tonight. It has not begun yet. The Houthis have said that they are going to resume attacks on the Strait of Hormuz, as well as sending missiles towards Israel. Iraq has not said that they are going to attack Iran or attack Israel. What they have said is that there are militias in Iraq that are working with Iran. So those are the things that are happening there. Who hit Dubai? Iran. Call your elected official even if they're Republican. I don't give a shit. Norway put out a statement saying the attack is described by Israel as a preventative strike, but it is not in line with international law. Preventative attacks require an immediate, imminent threat, and Norway is trying to get diplomatic solutions back on the table. I feel like this is going to be an embarrassment for Trump. Yeah, I mean, it absolutely is. There is no win state here for him. UAE is reporting at least one person has been killed. And the UAE is saying that it reserves its full right to respond to this escalation. Well, I think it's going to backfire because no one really has a desire for this conflict. And also, they're not going to be able to achieve any of their goals. So, I don't exactly see what the win condition is here for them. Germany was given a heads up that this was going to happen, apparently. They just make shit up. They do it every time. Yeah, but the reason Venezuela went over well was because they actually got Maduro, you know? In this particular case, they're not getting shit. Like, they're not getting anything. There's not going to be like a thing they can hold up and say, we won.
Everyone call your elected officials and start organizing on the local level for both electoral and community direct support. 5calls.org Peepo Hug.
Thank you so much, Cliff. Thank you for subscribing. Appreciate it. A U.S. official is saying the airstrikes will not last hours but days. No casualties reported from the strike targeting U.S. base in Bahrain. Okay, so we're not at war? We're not officially at war, because that would take Congress meeting together and declaring war. But, I don't really know what else you call it when the president unilaterally announces a multi-day bombing campaign of another country, and then that other country is retaliating by attacking us and, surrounding countries. So, like, it's not technically war, but I'm pretty sure Iran considers us at war. Oh no, Shadowmar, they also struck at the Fifth Fleet itself. No reports on damage on that one. But they hit both the naval base as well as the fleet. I double-checked, just to be sure. Witnesses were describing attacks directed towards the fleet, so I don't know what to tell you. Syria is in the process of closing its airspace. UAE and Bahrain very upset about missiles. 2 killed in Iraq. U.S. bodies are local nationals. The ones killed in Iraq are related to the Iraqi militia headquarters that was targeted by the United States and Israel, and the person killed in the UAE, unknown. Trump did not notify Congress that he was going to do these strikes. Oh yeah, no, Lady Ringclad, I wasn't memeing. He literally did the "some of you may die" bit from Lord Farquaad. We have confirmed deaths. We have confirmed deaths. Jordan is talking about shooting down missiles in its territory. Apparently, the express highway outside of Tehran is choked with traffic from people trying to flee.
In the UK here, whenever Jack is on in the morning, I know more shit has gone down.
Shit has definitely gone down. That is a accurate statement to make at this point in time.
Missile threat warning.
Yeah, that's footage we already saw. Malaysia is condemning the strikes on Iran. And Israel is trying to now justify its attack on Iran, saying that they detected a sharp acceleration in Iran's production of ballistic missiles. And they were starting to make dozens of ballistic missiles a month. So, you know, okay. Jayla Rose, get good sleep, okay? Trump is apparently not going to address, is going to address the nation later today, but no exact time is given. So now they renege on their claim that they yeah, 100%. Their claim that they destroyed like their nuclear capacity and like their missile manufacturing capacity, it was all bullshit. Yeah. The Iraqi foreign minister said that he received a call from his Iranian counterpart to clarify that any attacks done through the Iraqi militia backed by Iran would be to target U.S. bases and not any Iraqi infrastructure out of a desire for self-defense. So that's happening. Australia is really excited to say, oh, hey, we support these attacks, I guess. Because they're putting out another statement saying so. Oh, of course. Lindsey Graham and John Fetterman praise U.S. action in Iran. Our country is so disappointing sometimes. The Kurds are fucked right now. Again, yeah. Yet again, the Kurds fight alone. Oh yeah, I almost forgot we betrayed the Kurds. Specifically, Trump betrayed the Kurds. Like, he's screwed them over so many ways. It's really frustrating. The UAE, on the issue of the missile that was intercepted, says the relevant authorities also dealt with debris falling on a residential area in Abu Dhabi, resulting in some material damage. And again, this is a quote, the death of an Asian national. So that's the identity of the person in the UAE. I don't know exactly why one would say an Asian national, but rather than like their actual country of origin, but I'm just quoting to you guys what the UAE put out there, okay? I know Asia's not a country, but yeah. Air India is suspending flights.
Thank you, Jack. You're basically my primary source of news now, and I appreciate your work.
Kara Valmajar, thank you very much for the sub. I appreciate it, and the kind words. Very, very much. Yeah, thanks for keeping us updated on during these intense moments. Yeah, it's a lot of information to sift through in real time. Celestial Heart, thank you for the $10 super chat.
I am decidedly not enjoying this, but I appreciate you anyway.
Yeah, that's fair. That's more than fair. Man, some of these outlets are reporting things that I talked about like 2 hours ago. Live UA map hasn't updated at all in the last like 20 minutes. Al Jazeera is still updating, but nothing of note. Oh, the Israeli military is apparently calling up 70,000 reserve soldiers in the coming hours and days. Allegedly mostly for air defense purposes, but we'll see. Meanwhile, Donald Trump's been posting. As Georgia prosecutor pursued Trump, Biden DOJ invited her to get lucrative grant, memo shows. I'm not going to click on this. I think it's the Voice of America for Iran, but cool stuff. He's just late night grandpa posting now. Apparently, explosions have resumed in Tehran, according to Al Jazeera. So another wave of bombing is taking place across Iran. I can't wait for the day to come. It's gonna be such a good party, Lady Rainclad. Fucking freak can't even focus on the war he started, right? Like he really is like a fucking freak, right? Like it is just unconscionable that we've allowed a senile old fool to lead us into a war with another country. First reported injury or confirmed injury from Israel. According to Al Jazeera, a 9-story building was hit in northern Israel, leaving a man with injuries after he was struck by shrapnel from interceptor missiles. So far, a lot of the casualties seem to be relatively minor, but like infrastructure damage is being done. So hopefully
to quote a little-known video game, nobody liked that.
Yeah. I'm just hoping that the outcome of this is that the damage is not so severe that, like, both parties can save face without escalation. Like, if both the United States and Iran get locked into, well, we need to escalate to save face, this just doesn't end well for anybody. You know? I mean, the alternative Nega Rengen X 2 to lift is, I was worried initially when reports began to come out that like Iran was attacking several different countries. My worry was that they were targeting the oil fields, and I feel like that's like something that they could do as a last resort, you know? And that would have a global effect. Ukraine is blaming Iran. Not surprising. Oh, Iran's National Security Council has issued a statement urging citizens to leave Tehran and major cities that face an attack, which folks are speculating is both to keep collateral damage low, but also to prevent any mass like uprising against the government. So that would be the upside for Iran in this case. Yeah, and like The Guardian is putting out a pretty good analysis here, essentially saying, quote, this assault in the middle of a second negotiation process must torpedo the chances of the Iranian regime ever taking a U.S. offer of talks seriously. They have been stung twice. As one Iranian Telegram channel put it, once again, the U.S. attacked while Iran was pursuing diplomacy. Once again, diplomacy does not work with the terrorist state of the U.S. Which, yeah, I mean, that makes sense from their point of view, you know? Iran's state news agency says that an Israeli missile hit an elementary school and killed 5, an elementary girls' school in Manab. I got a not fed post. Oh my god, yeah. They'll swear Hamas was hiding in it. Oh yeah, maybe that elementary school is where Iran had their nuclear missile program. Syria has now completely closed its airspace after initially announcing it was only going to close the southern airspace of Syria for 12 hours. It's now fully closing all of its airspace, seemingly indefinitely. The AP speculating at what oil futures could be. They got Ali Vaiz, who directs the Iran project at the International Crisis Group, who warned that the war could likely escalate. He stressed that Iran had been preparing for this conflict and that war could break out across the entire Middle East. He also stressed that the war could lead to higher energy costs, which, Donald Trump has specifically billed the entire American economy on bringing oil costs down. But Ali pointed out Iran sits along the Strait of Hormuz, through which roughly a fifth of the world's oil supply passes. So, goddamn, it all keeps coming back to the oil, doesn't it? Spain is going out there and urging a respect for international law. Okay, we are getting an update on potential casualties from the initial strike, which is that Iran's supreme leader, Ayatollah Ali Khamenei, was not in Tehran at the time of the attack and was in a secure location already. However, several senior Revolutionary Guard commanders and political officials were killed in the strikes. We don't know exactly who those are or what their rank would be, but several, prominent members of Iran's leadership were killed. Thistles for Eyes, the Al Jazeera is where I saw the report. And it is coming from Iran's state-run IRNA news agency. But also, there's not a whole lot of sources within Iran outside of their own reporting agencies. And as of a minute ago, Al Jazeera is reporting another wave of Iranian missiles is being fired at Israel. I do wonder how much of this is to overwhelm Iron Dome defenses, exhaust, ammunition supplies. Yeah, I suspect we're not going to get a whole lot of information about damage that Iran is doing until kind of the fog of war clears on these initial attacks, but wonder what the likelihood or danger of strikes on American soil is. It's very low. Iran does not have the military capability of launching a missile and hitting the United States. However, I would say that any kind of retaliation along those lines would be probably more like a infiltration by like a terrorist cell and like a longer term, counterattack in that capacity. Explosions are now being heard in Tel Aviv, though again, damage unknown. How many? Unknown. Would it be like a 9/11? It could be like a 9/11, but again, we'll have to see how things go here. Well, I don't think Israel's goal is regional stability, My worry is that Trump gets Putin to attack us and give him his excuse to suspend elections. That's not going to happen. What happened? Israel and the United States launched a surprise assault on Iran. And now Iran is responding, and Israel's responding to the responses, and the United States is responding. It's a whole lot of blowing up people. A lot of bombs. What does the average person even do about this? Call your elected representatives. Unironically, like call your elected representative and your senators and tell them to impeach this motherfucker. Like, let them know that you're angry and that you want them to impeach Donald Trump over this illegal and unjust war. Was it really a surprise? I mean, they were in the middle of negotiating. Like, they were still talking with Iranian officials. Like, even if you think that the negotiations aren't going to go anywhere, if somebody punches you in the face while you're talking with them about, how you can go forward during a divorce, like, yeah, that's going to be unexpected, even if the hostility isn't. No negotiation while bringing up the carriers? Yeah. One should not make idle threats in a negotiation, and this was not an idle threat, and hey, guess what? Now it's being enacted. I get the feeling, like, when I try to explain this, people are just assuming, like, well, of course they saw it coming. Of course. And it's like, yes, their military apparatus is sophisticated. Yeah, they would be able to assume from everything that Donald Trump has said and done that this would be an underhanded trick. And yet, they still came to the negotiating table because they wanted to take that off chance that maybe the negotiation was in good faith. And surprise, surprise, the football got pulled away again. We're not surprised. But the reason I'm saying attack during the negotiation, a surprise attack, is because there was still the pretext of negotiation. The entire pretext of negotiation was to secure some minor element of surprise, which again ruins any future attempts to negotiate anything with the United States. It's why we didn't kill Ayatollah Khamenei, all right? He wasn't in Tehran because they thought something like this might happen. We didn't kill nearly as much of the military leadership as we thought we would because they thought something like this might happen. But, like, I feel like I'm on crazy pills when I'm like, yeah, we did a sneak attack on Iran. We did an underhanded move in the middle of negotiating with them and attacked them. And then people are like, well, was it really a sneak? And I'm just like, yes, of course it was a sneak attack. Make me quote, like, fucking Mr. Kim from Kim's Convenience. This is a reference for all you Canadians. How old is the Ayatollah? He's like 88. Some non-Canadians got it? Good, because Kim's Convenience is a delightful show that everyone should watch. Okay, I feel like I need to end stream soon, because my frustration is rising with chat in a way that's probably not commensurate with the level I should be frustrated with you guys. I'm really confused about you guys talking about Khomeini when I was talking about Khamenei. They're two different guys, just very similar names. Khomeini, two different guys. Oof. I apologize, that wasn't my intended tone. No, it's okay. I'm the one getting frustrated, and I've been awake for far too long. It's 5 o'clock in the morning for me. It's okay, guys. I understand my frustration is mostly with the limitations of my body. Okay. I appreciate all of you guys. I wish I had a better way to, wrap all this up. I don't. This is all just really, really awful. And I appreciate all of you sticking with me, and I hope you guys will join the Discord, join up with your local Dems, join up with your local DSA, and maybe together we can build a sane world where good things happen instead of just terrible, awful war crimes from this administration. So, all that being said, folks, let's keep on going.
Riverboat Jack is coming to town. All the viewers gather round. Twitch and YouTube is where she streams. All that content is bursting the seams. Politics, dating, plenty more. Her sense of fashion you'll adore. So grab your stuff and hop aboard. We're going straight to Jack's Discord. Riverboat Jack.